Hello folks and welcome to Erannorth Reborn. Today we will be unlocking a new race, the Nymph race in particular, and let's see what we have here. So Nymphs, Piercing +2, Bludgeoning +1, Fire -3, Earth +2, Dark -3. So in most likelihood Nymphs will make a pretty bad Necromancers, considering we have this -3 in Dark, but I never played with a Nymph Necromancer before and I think it should be interesting. So let's see how can we make this character work. For starters we need to assign some points. Okay, I don't think this character can really work, but it gives us back some piercing. Resilience is a bludgeoning minor. Also can reduce our hit points. I will leave it at 13 because I like this bludgeoning +3 here, could be useful. Dark is still penalized and Dark is a willpower major. So at least now we can get it to 0. Charisma is an astral major and light dark minor. So dropping that will drop either. That's as good as we can get our stats at this point. So let's name our character Jade. And since our build it's a bit weird, I will also pick an organization. Maybe. No, it's okay. Let's go without an organization. Nymph Necromancer. It's perfectly. It's a great build. I can tell you that from now. I have a good feeling about it. Okay, so how we should go? Ready your bow. One of the greatest Nymph cards, not very useful because our piercing damage sucks a bit, but can still be useful, so let's add one of these. And we will be going full doom. Dark damage also not so good, but sprouting vines can be useful and skeletal minions can be useful. So let's go on a ally based kind of build. Well, let's add 3 of these guys and maybe drop this. Okay, so this is the masterpiece of deck we came up with, and it will be a skeletal minion blitz deck. We will also be inflicting vulnerable and creating zombies. So let's see how it will go. Our first zombie. Affliction. If the enemy is doomed, then we deal poison. Okay.
No one shall escape my aim.
Three arrows for the weaver. So since we won't be focusing on damage at all, we will be going for other things. In this particular screen for experience inside. Let's doom the weakest. We also can inflict vulnerable, drain soul. We get empower. Drain soul will be very useful, so we'll be able to deal some more damage. Check the backpack, get the treasure, stash this. Expend grace 4, destroy undead, draw 1, and if it unravels we get grace. That's not bad, but doesn't fit my strategy much. Let's start digging. So we have no doom. Let's add some more damage here to get better chances of empowerment. We didn't. Let's do this. You can also use this button to attack faster. No need dragging the allies over there. And this way their positions will remain fixed. Because if we do this, then the ally will return to the closest spot. So if I do this, the ally will return here, in a sense rearranging them. But if we just do this, then the ally will stay in the same spot. Mark as the replacement. Now that the replacement gone and we didn't get to reanimate this one would have been replaced if we had 3 allies, but we don't, so okay. As you can see, we pretty much suck at damage. But with vulnerable we can be a bit deadly. Unwind to our deck. And I will show you on Unwind how it works exactly when we get to the... Okay, so Empower will boost our ally statistics, power and health, and make them come into play a bit stronger. This one is level 2, that's why they appear to be of the same strength. And we can replace this one. We regenerate 7 action points, so let's play one of these. Temporarily we are over our limit, so next time allies check, this one will disappear. We can manually drag allies that we don't want to keep. Unwind to deck. Unwind will be great because with the strain of -2 we will be able to play some of our cards cheaper. Let's do this one. We got a level up. We also got a nice Empower 2, and if this Empower was higher than 2, then each time we use this bonus, it would be reducing the Empower by 25%, rounded down, but since we don't, I will save my AP, get leadership and other summoning perks. We gained Recycle. Recycle is nice because it lets you continue the offense by recycling some minions, but for now let's blast him. Okay, all we did was to make him sealed. Okay, so strain -2 means that the next action we play costs 2 less, so we can play Ready Your Bow for 2. Shoot him 3 times for nothing. And done. Okay, that wasn't very bad, but it will get better once we get some more interesting allies. These vile nymphs used to be our sisters, but now they're our enemies. So if the enemy has Doom, it also gets vulnerable, and vulnerable let us deal more damage. Let's do this one will leave anyway. Draw. Let's try to get some empowerment. Nope. Close, but not enough. So as you can see, our skeletal horde devastates our enemies so far. Let's get this. And for now, let's keep our level P points. Let's ignore the witches. Drain soul. Bring in empowered. So if I don't discard an ally when we get over this 4 out of 3 exceed our limit situation, one of them will be auto-destroyed next time the cleanup script runs. That is whenever we use a card or end our turn or take any actions and we are passing our limit, the excess ally will be destroyed. So for example, if I were to play Unwinged, the excess ally got destroyed, and since we didn't choose it, was the first in line. So we come across an old altar covered in blood and bones. What a splendid discovery. Since I'm playing with the Doom archetype, I will get the Crowbeak talisman and equip it. So we got our first zombie, then his soul, minion, elixir. Let's inflict doom. So our allies are not joking around, they deal lots of damage. And what we do in this case, we are supporting them from the sidelines like a proper Necromancer, if that's what a proper Necromancer does. So this does. Okay, so let's start with Doom. If the enemy has Doom, then we deal 4 intense damage and draw a card. We can give vulnerable to these guys. Maybe to this one. If the enemy has Doom, we draw a card. We are above our limit. Playing a card will destroy one. And in these cases you probably want to choose which one to destroy. It's Doom, Gropic, Talisman. Level up, perfect. Okay, so we have Deteriorate, adjust bleeding by 6. So if they are bleeding, they get an additional 6. And we also apply a healing counter, which won't heal the enemy, but trick them thinking they will. So as long as this healing counter is there, they won't be able to use their healing tactic. It will get you around. Compel the undead. Target undead enemy. Synergy power. Deal intense. Control undead. Okay. So this one will control an undead enemy with power 11 or less. Wouldn't be a true Necromancer if we didn't have 2 of these cards in our deck. And close. And you know, by true Necromancer I mean what we are playing right now. So, leadership. Leadership will also make all our allies deal 1+1 combat damage per leadership rank. So that's always good. And we will also increase our summon limit to 4. The cheapest way to do that is the apprentice summoner as well. So maybe we can go with apprentice summoner now and get leadership in the next level. Maybe along with Astrologia Guedia. So at level 4 we will get 80 perk points and we go at 163. So considering that leadership costs 100, we have around 60 to spare. 60 to spare, and it's okay, I won't get anything at the moment. But I will go for charisma and willpower. Okay, so we have Cornwell, and he will be facing our undead hordes. Let's start with Doom. Drain Soul. Compel the Undead isn't very useful at the moment. Let's attack. Play Unwinged. Attack. Play Unwinged. We can inflict Doom.
No one shall escape my arrow.
That was nice damage. Okay, and Cromwell is down. We can advance to the next stage. We don't need this. This one can get vulnerable, so let's give him vulnerable of 6 and Doom. 6. And we get Empower. Doom the next one. Probably this character would have been, we can have 4 now, can be insanely powerful with the Resurgant Tenebris faction, which specializes in undead and plague and poison. And you can get different effects for your Doom ability. We'll be going through such a character at some point again in the future. Mortify, Teamwork Empower, Teamwork Pride, Play Contagion. Oh, that's nice. Add to deck. Let's also shuffle. So Unwinged. Potential 3. Unwind needs to target me. So that's something to keep in mind. If the enemy has Doom, we inflict some additional intense damage. And let's destroy this one. Weaken, Doom, and Festering. So Festering got an additional effect. If the enemy is bleeding, it used to deal 10 intense damage. Now it will also apply a Venom stack along with the intense damage equal to this value, but only if the enemy is bleeding. So since we are not using this bleeding much, I can add it to my stash. Doom. Vulnerable, weakened, frozen, kill. Envenomed and tangled. So vulnerable. We get empower. They have Doom, they get intense. And we draw. And they become a zombie. So keep up the attack. The skeletons, they are our minions. Minion to vulnerable. Okay, so Doom. We can draw. It's not like we can benefit from any of these cards, so let's keep up the attack. Rapier, or otherwise a great weapon, but in this case not so much, but we can sell it. So let's get this stuff and sell them in town, and hopefully we will have enough cash to buy some interesting allies. $575. Nope, we can't afford any of these guys. We can afford the zombies, but and the maggots. Maggots could be interesting, but let's check our actions. Mortify. Mortify is a great card, and we haven't get to playtest it yet. But the Blood Tribute will play a free contagion. So you pay 6, you get a bar, you get the pride, and then you get to cast contagion, which will have this pride and use it 3 times, 1 for each copy. So Mortify, it's pretty good, I think. Unstable mutation. No Farnix. Leave. Unstable mutation. Good, let's add it to our deck. Okay, let's start with Doom. Find the toughest guy in the room and punch him in the nose, and he can get vulnerable. We can draw a card. 2 to 4 plus 3, not enough. But now, give vulnerable. They are all immune to vulnerable. Okay. Let's discard this. Discard this. Doom. As we said, immune to vulnerable. But we can use this to apply vulnerable. That would be interesting. Assuming we had any action points left. Let's play Weaken here. Okay, let's give a test drive to Mortify. We can first, we don't, it's a teamwork, so the ally needs to be active, okay? Mortified. So as you can see, they took, we got +2 empowered, we got +17 pride, and we multicasted Contagion, which basically gave these guys weaken, triggered pride twice. So, and it would and pride would have affected the entire table, which just makes it all the better. So our problem is, of course, the action points. We have a very low action point. Let's freeze this guy. Doom. We also don't have much of hit points. Start with Doom. Vulnerable. Drain Soul. Remember that you can produce afflictions, and afflictions will weaken the enemy. And weakened enemies will deal less damage to your allies. Let's doom this guy. If he is doomed, he gets intense damage. We also draw, we doomed, draw. And continue. So we are doing perfect support to our zombie allies so far, and Death Caress would be interesting to have. And winds are great because we are spending less. Now if we had spell components, things would be much better, but we don't. So let's add one more unstable mutation to our stash, not to our deck, and do a shuffle. So Mortify. Let's play Mortify. We can play it for 4. So as you can see, Mortify can really empty the table. We got the first Pride and the second Pride deals intense damage. So we have a blowgun, which is very nice accessory to have, but we already have an accessory we like. There is also this Filter of Death, which either deals venom and poison or destroys the enemy outright, but needs alchemy. And on the bright side, it's a commodity, so we can sell it. And I will also get this. I think we could have used the blowgun because this is on the amulet slot. Anyway, it's okay. Let's discard this, we don't need it now. And draw this to our hand. The enemy has Doom. If the enemy has Doom, we give Vulnerable, we deal 4 intense damage, and we drain their soul. And Grim is level 7. Which can be probably weakened. Unstable mutation. And Grim is down. Ah, nice. So we have Soulless Servant that needs to unsummon a non-undead ally. We don't have any non-undead allies at the moment though. Parasitic Bond, which takes advantage of healing counters you can apply to the enemies, and then we can bleed, drain, fester them. And of course, Exhume, which crafts Reanimate after you get a synergy power and add an Aura of Darkness in the table. Now that our skeletal minions are maybe we can add to Exhume in the mix. We are playing with 28 cards. That's okay, because most of our cards are support anyway. And what we care about is our allies. Start with Conceal touch. 7. Inflict doom. Draw. Let's mortify them. Unmake. Unmake will give you an empower of 3, which is a very good thing to have. Then we have Plague, with Doom, Cripple and Destroy non-undead. And this mutates to Unbind, so if we don't use it, it will become Unbind. And then if we don't use Unbind, it will become Unmake, but assuming it will survive in our hand because it's a reaction. We can also take Empower Dead, which will buff our dead allies. And probably I will change my deck if if we survive this stage in the next one. Let's use this here. So these guys are undead, immune to vulnerable. But we can freeze one of them, maybe the dog. And we can weaken maybe the other dog. Don't need that. Target undead enemy, deal 4 intense damage, control undead with power less than 11, so this one. And if the enemy has doom, we can deal 4 intense damage, but first let's use this.
No one shall escape my arrows.
Let's shoot 3 arrows. Attack. Attack. Okay, that's not very good because we are vulnerable, but control undead 11. So weaken. I want to have a dog of my own. We lost our temptress, it's okay. So we're in town again, but this time it's night and we can loiter to pass for hours maybe. I can sell this bow, long spear. So I can sell the filter of death. And we can add a skeletal warrior to our deck. So if he is doomed, he becomes vulnerable, and this one can get doomed. so long as we end our turn, we get back to our summon limit. Unwind, unstable mutation to this skeleton. Doom. Doom deals intense damage. So these guys are wicked, meaning that my Desecrate would heal them too. No need to do that. Reanimate. Let's start with Mortify. Drain Soul. So, we have 163 perk points. We can take leadership at this point. But let's see. Flesh Grafting. Your summons have +2 power and we get a synergy power effect by +3 Soulbinder. Pacifist. Shepherd of the Damned. At this point I will get leadership because I do want to increase my summon limit. Of course we'll be getting the villain tendency and saving the rest for something summoning related. Stars. You can always sell it. Let's add Unbind to our ever-growing deck. None of them is undead. Let's weaken this guy. Let's use Mortify.
No one shall escape my arrow.
That's reaction, so I have to use it. Potential 5. Let's put him in the front. Okay, so they are all living, meaning we can play Desecrate, bring a zombie, doom this guy, doom this guy.
Level up.
We got a level. And let's mortify, or save mortify for the boss better. Unstable mutation, lose 4 hit points, let's use it here. Call from the grave. Upon draw we play a reanimate, so we summon a zombie. And when we play this card we give synergy power and synergy health minus. And if it's unraveled we lose 4 action points. Not so good. I think I will be tweaking this card. It's very meh. Death Knell. Multicast 2. Deal 3 to 7 dark damage. Drain soul 3. Okay. Let's continue. Study the grimoire. I can draw one of these into my hand. None of them is undead, it's a reaction, so we will be losing it. I can attack with my empowered zombie. Won't be using this here either. Let's draw this, this. Okay, so I will play Unwind.
No one shall escape my arrow.
Shot 3 arrows. Let's use this. I'll need it for the boss fight. Okay, so with 2 Mortify, I think I will add this to my stash. I think Mari will be an easy target. Especially since she can take more from dark damage. So I will start with Mortify. And follow up with a second Mortify. And that's it. Okay, so far so good. I will be taking a short break and I will see you in the final part. See you soon.